AirPod Pro 2s are better. Just saying, they're the better option. They're more versatile, they're easier, they're cheaper, and the sound's pretty comparable. Let's get into it. I wanted to get a new pair of wireless headphones. I had the older generation AirPods right here. These are the AirPod 3s, just the regular ones. As comfortable as these were, they didn't play nice with my computer. It's a non-Apple computer. And the noise wasn't great, and I've heard the microphone's not great on these either. A lot of people like to don the over-the-ear headphones or cans. So I looked into the AirPod Maxes, and I gotta say, they are pretty nice. They're definitely pretty comfortable. However, for me, I still like the AirPod Pro 2s. They have a lot of the same features. Let's go through our pros and cons list. AirPod Maxes, pros. These have longer battery life. Supposedly they have better active noise cancellation, or ANC, supposedly. They can be more comfortable for some people. This is a camp that I would not fall into. I've never really liked the over-the-ear headphones. If anyone remembers those headphones that used to go around your ear and kind of loop around and then just kind of hang right here, that's what I used to wear, and even that just was not very comfortable. I never got along well with over-the-ear headphones. I always preferred the in-ear headphones. But that being said, over-the-ear headphones can be better for the health of your ears. You're not going to have as much hearing damage, or you're not going to have ringing in your ears or tinnitus, I'm not sure how you say it, but that residual ringing in your ears in a quiet room. These are going to be much better, supposedly, than a pair of in-ear headphones, whether they're earbuds, AirPods, or whatever, the ones that just stick in your ear. And of course, usually the sound quality, this is a much bigger speaker than this tiny little guy that just sits right in your ear like that. Did I even put it in the wrong one? This is a much bigger speaker. It's going to be a much better sound quality. Typically, the manufacturers have a lot more to work with when the speaker is this big as opposed to a tiny speaker like this. You could probably fit 3 or 4 of these speakers in this little ear cup right here. So those are some of the pros of over-the-ear headphones, and all those pros do stand true when we are taking a look at the AirPod Maxes. Now we're going to go into some of the cons. The first con being they're heavy and they're large. So that means if you're going to take these, if you're going to commute, if you're going to do some work at a coffee shop, maybe you're going back to the office a couple of times a week, this is probably about as heavy as an iPhone or a modern day smartphone. I have an Anchor battery over here. This is about the same. Actually, the earphones are a little bit heavier. So these are going to take up more space and they're going to add more weight onto your back if you're carrying around a backpack. So the versatility on these is not as good as a smaller pair of earbuds or AirPods or just anything small that pretty much fits in your pocket. They can be uncomfortable. For me, when I first put them on, they're pretty comfortable. But then for some reason around up here, after wearing them for about 30 minutes, they start to hurt. But after 30, 45 minutes, I definitely feel it, and these do get uncomfortable. Now, another con, for me this really isn't much of a con, but people love to say that this is a big concern of theirs. These can only be charged via Lightning. So I've got a Lightning cable right here. I'm an iPhone user. I think most people that are Apple users would gravitate towards these anyway. Same thing with the AirPod Pros or the AirPod regular ones, the little pill-shaped ones. They charge Lightning as well. Your iPhones still charge with Lightning and wirelessly. These don't charge wirelessly. They do charge with a Lightning cable. That's the only way they can charge. However, is it really that big of a deal to carry a Lightning cable? If you have an iPhone, you probably have one stuffed in your bag already. It's super easy to go on Amazon and just order a bunch of Lightning cables. For me, not a huge deal. Now, one other concern is if you are on video calls and maybe you're on sales calls, maybe you're leading a team, these definitely do look a little bit less professional than if you just took them off and you just looked so totally natural. It does look like you are in a command center sort of thing where you may not like it. I particularly don't like this, even though these really don't stick out that far. They don't really change your appearance too much, but still, nothing beats just having nothing here or having small headphones. I don't like the look of wearing big over-the-ear headphones on video calls for business. And this next one's a bit controversial. This is really just for me. I don't like that they mess up my hair. They put a flat spot right here. And because I push my hair back, I comb it back and I style it. If I put this a little bit too far back and I move it forward, now it's going to crinkle my hair. It's just not something that I'd rather deal with. And of course, everyone's favorite con, price. These are priced at, I believe, $549. I got them on Amazon for $430. Pretty steep discount, but again, over $400 for a pair of headphones, that's pretty insane. Now let's talk about the AirPod Pro 2s. Pro number 1 is longer battery life than the older ones. Anyone that's ever used AirPods knows that when you put them in your ear, and whether you're talking, whether you're listening, you've got about 4 hours of talk time per earbud. So 4 hours here, 4 hours here if you're on the phone, and 5 hours listening time if you're listening in the gym. What happens is you take them out. When you put them back in this case, everyone should know this, but maybe you don't. You put them back in this case, they actually charge. With the first pair of AirPods, or with these AirPods 3rd generation, not the non-Pro ones, you would get 5 hours of listening time and 24 hours of listening time if you keep taking them out, and then it charges inside this case. These have been updated finally, where you get 6 hours of listening time per earbud, right? And you get 30 hours of charge time for the case. That means 6 hours, put them back, take them out, 12 hours. Do that 5 times, and you got 30 hours listening time. But these I've used for 2 or 3 hours. I don't think I've seen them go below 50%, so great improvements for the battery life for the small, regular size AirPods. I touched on this earlier. The second Pro is going to be that they are a lot more pocketable and easy to just put in your pocket. I put these in my front pocket with my keys and my wallet, but these are very discreet, very easy, very convenient just to throw in your pocket. They don't take up as much space. They don't weigh that much at all. These are also a lot more discreet for business calls. Are they as discreet as a pair of black headbuds, right? In-ear headphones? They're not, because when you turn your head, you can still see it. But again, for the most part, you look exactly the same as compared to if you put your big headphones over. Now you look different, whereas here it looks like just back before 2020 happened and we're all in person in the office. No one had to have those big over-the-ear headphones, so these are a lot more discreet if you're making video calls to your loved ones or doing it for business. Something else that's pretty cool is the rubber tips come in different sizes. So when I first got these, I have the large size right here. Come on, Sony. Do your thing. There you go. Product showcase. There it is. I put the large ear tips on here, and these are made of some sort of rubber material. Reason being is because I was using these in the gym when I first got them. One AirPod fell out, so I took the mediums off and put the large ones on. So that's super helpful. It does make them a much nicer fit. So something that's nice with the AirPod Pro 2s, and the AirPod Maxes do this as well, there is a little button right here where you press it, and all of a sudden now noise cancellation is on. It sounds like I'm underwater. I really can't hear myself too well. I don't know if I'm shouting, if I'm talking too low, but it does feel like, or it does sound like I have headphones in or earplugs in right now. So this is really convenient if maybe your housemates, your spouse, your partner, roommates, whatever, maybe they're in the other room making a lot of noise and you want to focus. Just pop these in your ear, you're good. Another nice thing about these is you can charge them with a wire, but you can also charge these wirelessly. So that's super nice about these. You can just drop these on a Qi wireless charging pad and then just charge them. Now I will say that these do get warm to the touch with the wireless charging pad. So if I'm going to leave them overnight, I do just plug them in with that lightning cable. Again, it does use that lightning cable. Some people think it's a con. I personally don't mind. Cables are cheap enough, but it is nice. You just drop this on your wireless charging pad. I have to have one right here on my desk, and these do charge up pretty fast. I just wouldn't leave them on there for more than an hour or two just because they do get pretty warm to the touch. Cons. Wearing in-ear headphones or earbuds can actually be worse for your ears. Now I mentioned before I do have a slight ringing in my ear if it's a super quiet room. I notice it. It just started in the past year or two of my life. It's not a big deal, but it is something that I take into consideration. However, these, the speaker actually sits inside your ear, whereas, for example, sitting right outside your ear, so they are going to be a little bit easier to turn them all the way up and damage your hearing. So now, because these are so much lighter, so much easier to fit in a pocket, so much smaller, so much more convenient, it does mean that they're a lot easier to use. I dropped my first pair of AirPods at work a long time ago. I was searching for the right one. It fell under a desk somewhere. So that's just something to take into consideration. You do have to watch when you're taking these out, putting them back in, because if you slip, if you lose your balance, if you drop this, it's a lot easier to just lose it and then say sayonara. Supposedly, the AirPod Pro 2s have worse audio quality and active noise cancellation than the AirPod Maxes. Now I want to talk about this because these have been out for quite a while and these just came out recently. The active noise cancellation, it might be a little bit better with these. I cannot tell enough of a significant difference. Maybe there's a little bit of a difference, but if I put these on and maybe the noise cancellation is on Maybe if I move them a little bit closer, if I adjust them, it gets quieter. Maybe if I'm putting them like this, it's not sitting crooked, it gets louder for some reason. These, a lot of times, they might just kind of shift around at your ear a little bit. Doesn't do it as much because I have the large ear tips on there, the large rubber ear tips on there. However, supposedly the noise cancellation is worse in a pair of in-ear headphones as opposed to a pair of over-the-ear headphones. However, I don't see enough of a significant difference between the AirPod Maxes and the AirPod Pro 3s to actually justify the cost, the weight, and the lack of comfort for the AirPod Maxes. And the same thing goes with audio quality. I actually think these have better audio quality than these. Now again, these are at least 1 or 2 years old. I'm not 100% sure, but these have been out for quite a while now. These just came out. I'm sure once they come out with the second generation AirPod Maxes, they're going to have a lot more room to play with because that speaker is much bigger, whereas these speakers on these small ones are much smaller. Naturally, these are going to be able to give you more active noise cancellation and better audio quality. However, I found the audio quality is a little bit better on the AirPod Pro 2s, whereas the AirPod Maxes, the audio quality is not as good. So to wrap it up, the AirPod Maxes are a great over-the-ear headphones if they're comfortable and if you think they're worth it and you like wearing them. Absolutely, you should go for them. For me, it's got to be the AirPod Pro 2s all day, every day. I would rather buy an extra pair of these just that way in case I lose them, I drop them, I damage them. I'd rather have an extra pair just on deck. I never really liked the big, heavy over-the-ear headphones. So this is just my opinion. I really appreciate the AirPod Pro 2s. The AirPod Maxes are great. They're just not worth the value. It's not worth me keeping. This is just for me. Hope everyone enjoyed this video. Hope you learned something. Hope you saw my perspective. As always, I appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you so much for watching. Consider subscribing if you like the content that I'm making. And I will see you next time. Stay safe and have a great day, night, weekend, whatever. Bye.